Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome. Welcome to the top 10 most disappointing WWE superstars, wrestlers, whatever you want to call it. So this list here is not a most hated list. It's not a favorites list, obviously. It is a list of, and let me be clear about this. When I say disappointments, I'm not talking about the talents of these athletes. Most of these wrestlers, I will say actually on this list that I like, and some I actually like a lot, and I have praised a number of times. But I want to just state that most of this is because of creative. It is because of McMahon, and it's because of Stephanie and the team of monkeys that write this shit on a week-to-week basis. So without any further ado, let's start at number 10. Mike Kanellis. Not that I was expecting the world from this guy, but in Ring of Honor and in TNA, this guy could get heat. You know, he's very dislikable. And since we are going to cater to the indie fans, since we are going to, you know, be all about indie darlings and everything, Mike Bennett was pretty popular in Ring of Honor. So, you know, if you're going to bring this guy in, for fuck's sakes, do something with him. But the lame, cheesy gimmick of him being in love with Maria, and I even said it was the first ever cuck gimmick of him taking the last name of his wife. You know, I just want to do a real life rant right here. If you do that shit in real life, I know this has been that's something popular here in New York and in LA. That, like, you know, it's a way of showing the woman that, like, you truly love her, and it's a way of catering to feminism by, you know, saying, oh, well, usually, traditionally, you would take my last name, but I'll take your last name because I love you so much. Cock-a-doodle-doo, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, as you can clearly see on SmackDown, it was all about Maria, and it's not even like they were using her at all. Okay, we all know Maria's hot, but we weren't even doing anything with her even prior to her pregnancy. Now that she's pregnant, Mike really doesn't matter. So, you know, this is the same thing. They bring this guy in just to do nothing with him. And Kurt Hawkins is another story. You know, you could put him here as well at number 10 if you want. He's not going to be on the rest of the list, Kurt Hawkins, because I think we kind of knew what we were getting more with Kurt Hawkins, but it's the same story with him. You know, it's like you bring him in just to job him out. Number 9, Titus ONeil. Titus ONeil, you know, like I said, when they first brought him up from the original NXT, I said that I like this guy. He shows a lot of charisma. And we've seen periods of brilliance for Titus, but it's only been little brief spurts. And all of a sudden, you know, they bring back Titus Worldwide. It's just him with a bunch of smaller guys. You know, some guy that goes, ah, ah, ah. And the other guy is, well, not charismatic at all, Apollo Crews. You know, Titus took these guys under his wing. And the funny thing is, excuse me, he is not even a winner in his own right. He was a glorified jobber. Not even glorified really that much. But how are you going to take people under your wing when you lose all the matches you have and you're not even booked to be that prominent? How does it make sense to have people taken under his wing? You know what I'm saying? When he's not even doing good himself. That really is a perplexing way of looking at things. It really shows you that creative doesn't really put a whole lot of thought into shit that they do. But he has a lot of charisma. He's got a great look. He's got a great body. You know, like I said, he's not even that bad in the ring. So there's no reason why this guy should be having such a problem. You know, I understand we're in a weird period in WWE where, you know, Vince doesn't know if he likes guys with size or he likes indie darlings to cater to his niche audience. We see that with Braun Strowman and Brock as champion, but we also don't see that when we're taking a look at Naka Murphy and, you know, the rest of the goofball gang. So, Number 8, Zack Ryder. I've talked extensively about Zack Ryder. I have said this time and time again. You see that Zack Ryder is a guy that got himself over. 2011, of course, the Smarks downplay it now like they always do because they have OCD and they don't remember anything beyond the span of a couple of weeks. Crowds, Madison Square Garden at Survivor Series was chanting loudly for Zack Ryder. We want Ryder. You know, constantly for Zack Ryder. He was on YouTube getting himself over with hundreds of thousands of views. You know, he was getting some big notoriety. WWE couldn't take it anymore. They gave him the U.S. belt. Then they asked him to take over his YouTube show. They took over the YouTube show, and then they jobbed him out. Then they had him start a romance. Then they had Cena making out with his girlfriend in front of him when he was in a wheelchair. They had Kane just beating the shit out of him every week. And then before he knew it, he was back down to the lower mid-card. Then they give him the belt at Mania. Then he drops it the very next night. And the life of Zack Ryder has been a very, very hectic one. Also, WWE likes to talk about, you know, how much they give to charities, and they're all about people and cancer and stuff. I did a video about 2 years ago when I watched a video on Zack Ryder talking about his life and how the guy had cancer as a kid. He beat cancer, and somehow they don't want to talk about that on TV. One of their own superstars that they had cancer. And so they could have him come out there and inspire people by a guy getting to the big time in WWE and beating a deadly disease. What a great story that would be. But of course, they don't want to take that route. Susan G. Komen and stuff, but the guy who actually had cancer, one of their own employees, they don't want to talk about that. At number 7, RTruth. RTruth, you know, this guy was a jobber. They hired him. They paired him up with Road Dogg. You know, I sensed a lot of charisma for him when he came in during the Attitude Era. But then when he, you know, they released him. He went to TNA. He came back. They looked like they were going to make a big deal about him. Then in 2011, they got the idea of let's bring RTruth to the big time. He's got the charisma. He's got a look to him. Let's put him in the main event against Cena. That didn't last too long. They blamed what was I trying to say there? Bad buy rates. I said blah blah blah. It sounded like Knock a Murphy there for a minute. You know, and so they blamed it on him, and then they started declining him in the card. The Awesome Truth was also a great team. If they weren't going to have The Miz and RTruth be a, you know, in the main events, this was a great way of having them together. And they went against The Rock and Cena, and I was greatly enjoying it, but they broke them up all too soon. At number 6, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. You've got these two massive guys, and, you know, you could do something with them. You know, okay, so you want to have Bray Wyatt on his own. I get that. But this is a waste of talent. We all could see that Luke Harper could do a lot of amazing things for a guy his size. He's 6'6", 6'7". He's like doing high flying shit, doing, you know, moves that usually the smaller guys do, and that's impressive. It was the same thing when Ryback was doing these moves. When a big guy does these moves, it's pretty fucking impressive. But for some reason, they don't want to do anything with these guys. They have a look to them, but, you know, the Wyatt family broke up, and they don't know what to do with these guys. They had them wrestle each other, and then they just disappeared. And it's not like they're injured or anything. They're just fine. They're just sitting on the sidelines for like over half a year now because they can't figure out what to do with them. That's pretty fucking sad. At number 5, Rusev. You guys know I'm not crazy about Rusev. I don't see a whole lot from Rusev. I don't see the promo skills there. He has a bit of a look, but it's just something that I don't like Rusev. He bores me when I see him. And that's nothing against him. I'm sure the guy, blah, 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 works hard and shit. We all know they all do. But once in a while, it's like, you just can't explain why you don't like a guy. But still, the guy was on fire in 2014. It was getting boring and redundant, but they were making the guy look strong. Now you look at Rusev, and it's like it's even become a part of their storylines, where it's like he just can't get a leg up. He's always losing. As hard as he tries, he just can't get it done. And the thing is, it's just ridiculous. If you don't know what to do with the guy, instead of making a damn fool out of him, just don't use him. The same thing you're doing with Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Just do it with Rusev, I guess. Because the thing is, you're not making the guy look good. This whole feud with Orton, he does not look good. Even after beating him in 9 seconds, he still doesn't look good. The guy hasn't looked good since 2015, and that's saying a lot. The storylines with Ziggler and the love triangles and the love four-ways, it's not getting... Do you remember that painful shit with him and Summer Rae? You remember that fucking garbage? Sheesh, man. I mean, goddamn, Rusev has been through a lot. I'll give the guy that. I will say that. Rusev is a flexible worker. This guy probably doesn't say no to anything. Because, I mean, I see him. He goes out there. He does what he has to do. And, yeah, I mean, the guy does what he has to do. And they put him in some ridiculous shit, to say the fucking least. And number 4, Shelton Benjamin. The fact that he was not even on SmackDown for the past 2 weeks just shows you. It shows you just outright that they don't know what to do with this guy. They had this guy a year ago. He got injured. Okay. So they bring him back, and they still don't know what to do with this guy. You bring him back, you put him with Chad Gable, and then you don't even show him from week to week. This was a big star at one time. You were making him into a big star. Had him beat Triple H. Big feuds with the Evolution and stuff. Intercontinental titles, U.S. titles. You're putting all the belts on this guy. It looked at like one point you were even flirting with the idea of putting the world title on him. Probably wouldn't have happened, but you wanted people to think that he was that caliber. The match he had with Shawn Michaels on Raw, and now you just fast forward to 2017. This guy is like double the size. He's in great shape. He still has the look, and you're just not delivering. And it's probably because this half-hearted, world's greatest tag team copycat team is just not what needs to be done at this point in time. And the other thing is just fucking show him. And he's on the pre-show, for fuck's sakes. You have this roster on SmackDown, thin as fuck. And Shelton has to be on the fucking pre-show, of all things. At number 3, the Hardy Boyz. I have to say it, guys. They came back at SmackDown. Michael Cole, things are about to get broken. There's no broken gimmick. Matt Hardy flirts with the broken gimmick from time to time. Wonderful, splendid. But this return has been anything but splendid. Just matches. Nothing has happened. No big storylines. They're losing a lot. Jeff is now injured. They just did not do a good job with this return. They're not feeling quite as irrelevant as the Dudleys were upon their return. And that was, I will say, with the Dudley Boys, that was probably one of the most fucked up returns ever. You bring back that massive popular tag team with all that notoriety. And, I mean, it was just pretty fucking sad. And you did absolutely nothing with them. And now the Hardys, I don't know. How much longer are they going to keep this up? There's They're not doing anything with them. They're scared they're going to get sued over the... the thing is, now that Jeff Jarrett's not involved with TNA at the moment, what are they so scared of now? I don't think they're going to get sued if they do the broken gimmick. They just got to do something with them. Think of something else. Because from having them go from match to match to feud, when I see Matt Hardy getting pinned by what the fuck is his name from the best things since sliced bread, I can't even fathom what WWE thinks they're fucking doing with this team. Carl Anderson, there you go. Big disappointments there. Number 2, Bray Wyatt. This just speaks for itself. They had this guy win the world title. And I even said, guys, don't get excited. People are like, you're fucking full of shit. Better late than never, right? I was like, well, okay, they're giving him the belt, but they've given a lot of people the belt in the past couple of years. Then I don't understand what they did. They gave the belt to Orton. Whatever. Bray Wyatt now is in a feud with Finn Balor, where I don't even understand what the fuck they're doing here. It doesn't even make any sense now what they're doing. The last episode of Raw, we're watching Bray Wyatt saying, now you got to go deeper. You wear the face paint. Don't wear the face paint now. Wear the face paint. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Bray. He has such a great gimmick, such a great style of promo, and they just still can't figure out how to properly book this guy and write him in a storyline where he looks good. Because he always ends up being a loser in the match, or he ends up just, not really ever growing from anything. And we saw this. His feud with Cena should have been the big time right there. That should have been his path to the world title, but instead, they broke up the Wyatts, and then we found out that, they were going to be back together, then they broke up again. So, you just like left standing there being like, okay, so where are we now with Bray Wyatt? This is such a great talent. The guy pretty much writes himself. A lot of that has to be improvised, what he does. And you have a great character here, and you're not utilizing him well at all. At number 1, Dolph Ziggler. I will say this. I am a giant Dolph Ziggler fan. I've said it for years here on this channel. This guy has the look. Has the personality. You can even see the terrible shit they're doing with him now. Sits on the sidelines. It was the same story with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Sitting on the sidelines, not doing fucking shit. There was no injuries, no nothing. They just didn't know what to do with him. I guess he was working house shows. They give him a world title. He, does everything WWE does to him, tells him to do up to the point where he gets a concussion. Oh, you got a concussion? We're going to punish you. They take the world title off him. They never give him the world title again. Then he gets jobbed out. He's in a feud with The Miz. Has 1,000 matches with The Miz. Then we fast forward. They are going to put him in Survivor Series. He's the sole survivor. Sting distracts somebody. I forget who it was. Helps him win. Oh, look at this. Dolph Ziggler. Now he's at the top. Then they drag him back down again. I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, you have a talented guy, obviously. He has spoken out a bunch of times, but he has done everything you have asked him to do. Now we have come to the point where Dolph Ziggler has been in this fucking company, if you want to count the Spirit Squad, for 11 years. No, actually 12 years if we count Nick Nemeth, the caddy for Curran White, Chavo Guerrero. So this guy has been in this company for 12 fucking years. And I know at one point they brought him back down to developmental. All right, you want to count when he came in as Dolph Ziggler? Okay, so he's been in the company for 9 years. It doesn't fucking matter. 12 years, 9 years. It just shows you. It shows you all the spread things. He's a cheerleader. He's a caddy. He's a goofball. He's a guy that can't figure out what entrance he wants to have. I mean, at what point do we just say creative fucking sucks and they don't even know how to write for a talented guy like Ziggler? And you can see in those promos with Bobby Roode, the guy is trying. He's got the charisma. He's got the promo down pat. We even saw that, remember when he was doing that stuff on the Raw Fallout or SmackDown, you know, post shows? He was cutting these big promos and people were getting a kick out of it. He was doing the work shoot promos. He was all fed up. And the thing is, we have to sit here and we have to see Dolph Ziggler's probably going to lose to Bobby Roode at Hell in a Cell. Okay, it builds up Bobby Roode, but it's just a match. What does it really do for anybody? Is that going to get people to like Bobby Roode more? Is that going to get him over more? No, it's not. And Dolph Ziggler is not going to get over in this because he's going to be the loser, and he looks like a loser with a fucking stupid gimmick. And this is, again, another punishment. I think it was that maybe Ziggler complained that all these guys in WWE are getting pushed that have these entrances but not a lot else to offer, which is very true. Nakamurphy, you know, case in point, Nakamurphy, who says WW Championship. He can't even say the name of the fucking company the correct way, and yet the guy is still considered to be a top guy. So Ziggler probably complained about that. Now they're making him come out there and make a fool out of himself. Are you fucking telling me, like, once again, that what is wrong with this fucking company? What is wrong with McMahon? That he's having these people come out here like Baron Corbin and Ziggler be made a fool out of. Corbin getting pinned by Ty Dillinger. I'm trying not to get off topic, but I just can't stand the fact of how stupid they make this fucking shit. You're going to sacrifice the quality of your product and all these talented people that are working for you fucking killing themselves for you. And you're telling me this is a guy who got a concussion and you punched him by taking the fucking belt off of him. And now you're going to fucking tell me that you're going to just have him come out there, oh, look at my entrance. I mean, like, what the fuck? What the fuck are they doing with this guy? Anyway, motherfuckers, this has been the top 10 most disappointing WWE superstars. This has been your YWC champ, signing out.